there, Dr. Sheeper. Welcome back to our TGIF Talks, episode 134? 135? I'm your host.
135?
I don't know, one of the two. I'm your host, Dr. Sheep, joined by co-host Anonymous Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll the intro here. That's why there's an echo. Alrighty, these podcasts are broken down to, I don't know, parts. Well, they're not broken down. What am I? That's why it's echoing. It's got two outputs on it. Why does it have two outputs on it? We don't need one of these outputs.
Make sure you delete the right one.
This is input. This is output. What's this? I wanted to see what it was. Why is that that's usually the setting button? This is apparently not the setting button today. We want audio input capture. No, I just want to see what it's using. Okay, that's using the microphone. What about this one? This is the audio output capture. What is it using? It's also using the microphone. So we have two capture devices using the microphone, but only one is showing up and seeing one. Sorry for all the people that are just looking at our recommendations. I've been struggling to get not struggling, but OBS has not been doing what I've been wanting it to do, and it's been irritating me. Also, I now see why we don't use this chair, because I can't sit as close to you, and so now I'm like way over here.
I can sit further back.
Go.
But now I look much smaller.
You are much smaller.
Which is why I was sitting closer.
It
gives it an illusion.
I can't help you with that.
Yeah.
So, well, anyways. Oh, man. So, we tried recording this podcast once. That was last week's. And then the audio didn't work, so then I just had to delete it. So now we're doing this again.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did we do last time? It was AI, right?
Did we do AI?
I thought that's what the whole point was. We're going to talk about AI.
We probably did. And
then, I had to delete the whole thing because there was literally no audio.
Yeah.
So, AI. I was talking with my brother Friday, and he doesn't see, he's kind of with you, but I also think he's living a fool's dream, where he was just like, oh, the rich people, they'll use the AI to enslave us. And I'm like, what? It's like they've got so much money that they can make AIs to replace us, but then they, and then we don't, and then they can just stay rich forever. But I'm like, that doesn't work. His idea didn't work.
Didn't work?
No, because in his idea, we aren't working anymore because the AI's completely replaced all of us.
I wouldn't say all. There'll be a few select jobs.
No, I'm talking in 50 years. There will not be any jobs that an AI could not do.
Yeah, probably.
There is not a job.
Well, no. But you'd still need to build the robot to do the thing.
The
right?
robot can build a robot. That is the holy grail of robots, self-replicating.
Oh, yeah. 50 years? Is that enough time?
That's enough time for him to be smart enough.
Oh,
actually, not even. I saw an article. I think we talked about this last time. I saw an article that says 2/3 of all U.S. jobs within the next decade will either be replaced or augmented by AI. So, augmented, that I expect that. I don't know if...
Well, I expect a lot of, the call center jobs and, help centers. Those can be... Any job that has to do with people typing on a computer, office jobs like that, those can be replaced easily without the need of a robot.
Yeah, we're already there.
But a job like a mechanic that requires a robot, that'll be a little bit longer.
But also you got to think cars are going to be very different in 10 years.
Yeah.
In 10 years, car manufacturers might design cars that will be able to be fixed via robots.
Yeah. I will say, until self-driving cars become widely universal amongst the average driver. Uh, Collision repair will always have a job.
Yeah.
Collision repair will always have a job until self-driving cars are just the most prevalent thing on the road.
Yeah, depending on which gets replaced first, the guy doing the repairs or the thing that's causing
Because
the
people will always crash. It's inevitable, unfortunately.
Well, even with self-driving cars being widely available, I wonder if people won't just get pushed into getting self-driving cars because they'll end up in an accident or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And most self-driving cars, they might just they might just swap out parts or whatever and just call it good. They might even do repairs. But these people, their cars aren't built for that, and so they have to get it fixed. Well, there's going to be nobody to do that because, it's been 5 years, and, it's been long enough to the point where we don't do that anymore. So now it's like, well, it looks like you're getting a self-driving car because you're too stupid.
Yep. Because also, sheet metal repair, that's kind of an art. I mean, I'm sure they could make a robot that could, accomplish the same thing, give him a hammer in one hand and a flat plate in the other. And, but it is an art. And so it would take time to learn that. Not that it couldn't. And then also, just troubleshooting the insides, electrical and mechanical problems. I mean, it'd have the brains to troubleshoot, but...
electrical problems will be easy.
But, actually getting in there and doing stuff?
I mean, we already do all the electrical troubleshooting is literally already done with the computer. You plug it in, turn it on, it runs through all the programs, says, yep, this is the problem, go in, replace it, and you're done.
Well, no, that's newer cars, though.
Well, yeah, but, old cars aren't going to be around, People are going to hang on to those, but those aren't going to be, I mean, already most people do not have cars that don't have a computer.
There is definitely something to be said about the way a gas engine starts, Like a 70s, Corvette,
I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan.
We were talking about, what we do if we win the lottery. I told them what my dream vehicle is. And, you're just sold to the electric. I'm like, I don't see the reason for there to be gas. I don't, and they're like, you don't like the sound? I'm like, no. It's just loud and annoying.
Well, money is not the issue. Until there are enough gas stations to when I can go anywhere and not have to worry about it, then I'll be sold on electric. I'm not sold on it's like, for example, if I had to get a new car tomorrow, it would still be gas. No matter the price.
I don't think electric cars. I don't think the power stations are going to be what's going to get you there first. It's going to be the actual batteries in the cars.
Yeah.
Because I mean...
Well, until battery technology allows me to drive 1,000 miles...
But the thing is, you're asking for something that most cars can't do.
Yeah, but there's gas stations to get me there.
Yeah, but you don't need to go 1,000 miles on a single tank of gas.
Well, no, but that's what I'd want my electric car to do before I get sold on it.
I think you're asking for something that might be physically impossible.
Well, no. It's either that or there's enough charging stations to when that it doesn't matter.
There's
not enough gas. There's not enough charging stations for us to go on our trips. I'm saying for me to be sold.
Well, no, I mean, we're on the edge already. Literally, all we have to do is another 100 miles, and we can do it just fine.
Yes, but we're not there yet.
Another 100 plus,
Until we get there, I'm not sold.
Yeah, but we're talking less than 5 years.
Yeah, which is why I said if I had to get a new car tomorrow and money was no issue, it would still be gas.
Well, anyways, but my brother was like, so I was like, AI is going to replace everything. We won't have to, working in 50 years isn't even going to be a thing. And he's like, we'll be slaves to the rich people. I'm like, what rich people? There can't be rich people. Because we can't buy their products if we aren't employed. And, I was talking about, he doesn't see any issue with us defaulting on our debt. And I'm like, no. Defaulting our debt is the worst thing for the American economy. It would no one would ever invest in us ever again.
There's no need for an economy. If a robot can do anything and everything...
Well, and that's what I said. But then he was like, oh, they'll never get rid of money. And I'm like, yes, they will. Because AI will do anything and everything. There won't be a need for money.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know why would you need money if an AI can do everything?
Well, see, my brother seems to think that the rich people won't allow AIs to do anything and everything.
Oh, I agree with that.
They'll limit them.
Yes.
But then I'm like,
yes.
But ChatGPT was made open source. Now, yes, it might not remain open source forever, but that's not to say somebody won't go and just do it again.
No, but they won't have a robot to do everything. The rich people will prevent a robot from doing everything. They won't allow that. There are certain things they will not allow a robot to do.
Well, no.
I'm not saying it couldn't do it mentally, but physically they will not allow it to be made.
Yeah, but we can still get the parts.
Oh yeah, I don't.
We can still build them. People.
I don't doubt that a third party would try and do it, but I think the government or rich people would step in and say no. They'd outlaw certain things. People do illegal things all the time, but they will make it. They will try to make it illegal.
I think in that situation, I think they'll get overthrown.
I don't know. Rich people tend to win.
Because it won't be... Well, then we're slaves.
Yeah, we are. We already are slaves.
No, but at least we get compensated. In this case, we wouldn't... We would just be left to the streets to waste away. You couldn't buy food because, well, you don't have money. Supermarkets would close. We would all starve and die. And the human race would be left to just a few rich people that... Honest to God, I don't know why they do that. It just doesn't make any logical sense. You can't be so greedy, because like you're gonna get.
You can definitely be too greedy.
But you're gonna get to a point where your greed doesn't get you anything. You're gonna get less money out of the situation because you want to control everything, and by that point, you're not gonna have anybody. You can't make more money because you don't have anybody to buy said money.
Yeah, which is why I don't think all jobs will get replaced.
No.
You can't get rid of all jobs for that reason.
No, if we don't get rid of all, you have to either go all the way or we stop where we are now today.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. I don't know what their plan is.
Nobody has a plan.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm sure somebody has a dream solution.
Probably Elon's the only person who has the brightest idea of where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Google literally just said that, because, you're talking about...
Because that's the thing, right? Eventually speech... I mean, I think speech is already getting to the point where the digital technology of audio will get to the point you could not discern between an actual person and an AI.
Boomers can't already.
Yeah, but us.
If you... Well, yeah, but I mean, if you play...
I think we're getting there. Whether or not it already exists, and I just don't know about it, we're getting there.
Well, no. So have you seen the presidents play Minecraft?
No.
Please don't stop recording things.
I don't go on YouTube. I don't know when this came out. But...
This isn't on YouTube. This is everywhere. You just don't have any social media or anything.
It is also true.
Presidents play. So, you click on one of these videos. Hopefully they don't.
You guys get on the server.
Did you figure out what you're going to build yet?
Yeah, but there's a choice between building a hospital that says Obamacare on it.
That actually sounds pretty good.
And also...
So the thing
this is completely AI generated.
Oh, I believe it. And want to know why? Go back. I'll tell you why. I realized right away. And play.
You guys get on the server.
Did you figure out what you're going to build yet?
It's very what's staccato? Is that the word? Like choppy. It's choppy. It's like they're just saying the word, but there's no intonation. The words don't flow with each other. It's like they're saying each individual word, each individual syllable.
That might just be this video. There's ones where straight up you...
Once they get intonation, whether or not that's already out there, but once they master intonation, you will not be able to recognize that.
Losses for me the last 2 times, but what game should we do? Tough losses for me the last 2 times, but what game should we do next?
I'm thinking we do baseball and leave tennis and boxing as the last 2 games.
Don,
it's a little...
Donald is almost freaking perfect.
Yeah, it's a little fast.
Well, that might just be their settings.
It might just be the settings, but it's a little fast. But yes, that is very good.
Donald's is in this video. Donald's is basically perfect.
Yeah. Well,
Actually, in all of them, Donald's is perfect. Joe's doesn't sound right. Joe's never sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
But Obama's is almost perfect.
I'd want them. Obama is the one that I noticed was choppy. I'd want them to slow Donald's down just a little bit, and then I feel like it'd be pretty good.
But I don't understand why. It's weird that the AI was able to train Donald's almost perfectly. I don't understand why that one is almost like perfect, but the other ones are.
Is there more clips of him talking?
There's like hours of footage. There's probably a year's worth of Donald talking in AI on the internet right now.
No. But what I'm saying, compare the actual number of footage of Donald talking compared to everyone else.
There might
Of actual footage.
There might be more of his. But the AI isn't going to go and grab. But these people aren't going to go and grab hours and hours and hours to train these AI. The AI needs 5 minutes.
I don't know. Maybe Donald's is just an easier one to do.
I think Donald already talks like a robot. Because, when you listen to him talk, he's like, he talks in very simple terms.
That is true.
And he's very deliberate when he says things. It's, and just the way he says things, like I'm not surprised in AI. Now he has a lot more inflection in his voice that AI is hard to pick up. When you're playing Minecraft or Wii U, it doesn't really matter.
That is another thing. So pauses are important because when you listen to someone talk, they have a spontaneous flow of words, but yet they still pause halfway through a sentence to think about how they want to portray this. An AI already knows everything that should be said. It already has a script written before it even begins to talk because it's just that quick at thinking. If it can add pauses, it'll fool anyone, I think. Because in the pauses will make it think like it has to think as it's talking. And once that is employed, game changer. And add like subtle stutters of words, just because you start talking and you say something and you're like, wait, that's not quite how I want to say it. So you kind of stumble over your words just a little bit. Once they add that, game changer.
Well, this AI, there's hours and hours of this footage on the internet now. Like, it's insane. It's all this President's Play stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. But computer jobs, those, I could see those getting replaced. But the thing is, should they?
Should have been replaced a long time ago.
I think it should be used as a tool rather than a replacement. Because if you use it as a replacement, like you said, you're getting rid of a lot of jobs. And what are these people supposed to do? Some of them have been doing this for 20 years. Now I want them to go find a whole other career.
Well,
See, I think it should be used as a tool.
Well, so the thing is, and the Google CEO, he made a comment about this. He said AI is going to, we are about to see the fastest growth in AI you have ever seen. And he's basically saying you have to hold on to your shit. Because in the next 10 years, AI is going to accelerate so damn fast. And stuff's going that you won't even get the chance.
Yeah.
Basically, one day you make an AI that's able to replace, one day your AI is only able to replace office jobs. The next day, it's able to install your electrical boxes for you.
Yeah.
And build houses. It can be that fast. Because now you have an AI that's able to work on AIs.
Yeah.
That's the holy grail. That's what Google already does. They have an AI that literally writes its own code to make itself better.
Yeah. That's how you do it, right? So you tell it to draw a picture. And then you have another AI compare that to another picture of a true image of, say, a cat or something. And then it takes it, it says, this is wrong, fix this. So then it goes back, it fixes that, then it sends it back. This is still wrong, fix this. And next thing you know, you hit the point where it's basically the same image. Except one was computer generated. Because it self-edits.
So there was a YouTube
Because they've already have stuff that can tell they have an AI that can recognize the difference between a computer generated image and a real image. But once you have an AI that can make a computer generated image and it has input from what it did wrong, it can just keep spitting it out until it gets better.
So I was watching Safety Third, and there was a video where the backyard scientists built these rockets. Basically, who was it? I think it was Lockheed Martin or somebody was selling a rocket where when it left the barrel, it shot out. It had these knives that would fold out, and I don't remember what the use case was it for. Something where it's supposed to cut through. I don't remember why they put these knives on there.
Okay.
So the backyard scientist was like, "Well, let's build that." You can't buy rockets that powerful, so he builds his own, and then he welds knives onto it and frickin' launches it, and it goes through a refrigerator, and the star pattern where the knives were.
Okay.
So anyways, a lot of people commented on the video, like, now make a guidance system. And he's like, do you really... Because, like, and they talked about how software for their videos is the part that takes the longest. Like, they can build the damn thing in an afternoon. It's the freaking software, because it takes forever. Well, and I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if you could build a computer-guided missile, because we've had literally heat-seeking missiles since the 50s. Which I still think... I don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
I want to actually look up how the original Sidewinder worked, because it was like 1950. We hadn't... Transistors weren't... Like, literally, it was like I think we maybe had... It was like the same year transistors were invented. They had Sidewinder missiles that were heat-seeking.
Well, it was probably handmade, hand-wound coils.
But, like, in a little thing like this.
Well, did you saw the one of how they made the first computer for NASA, right? The was it Linus Tech Tips?
Well, yeah, but like I just it's so small. It was in such a small, and it was so cheap.
It was a very meticulous job because it all had to be handmade.
I also wonder how they had what they used for a detector, because I can only think of maybe because you'd have to use some sort of solid state detector. So like a camera sensor, something that detects infrared light, and those are diodes. So I'm like those are transistors. So I'm trying to figure out how the heck they had that in the 1950s. How they were building that without crystal lithography. So there must have been some clever engineering going on. I'd have to do a bunch of research. But anyways, and so I was like, well, Jesus Christ, if they could build this in the 50s with a bucket of scraps, like, I gotta be able to do this now. And so I was thinking about it, and there's this Minecraft YouTubers, and this guy told ChatGPT to write him a key macro coding. Mm-hmm. Basically, he wanted to make a bunch of gold blocks, but that's very intensive. Like, you have to sit there and just do it by hand. So he told ChatGPT to write a code that would do it for him. It would control the mouse and keyboard inputs for him. And so he did. And ChatGPT did it. Now, I knew ChatGPT could write code. So I'm like, could you trick ChatGPT into writing you, like, the most basic guidance system I need is for it to fly straight and to fly level with the horizon. That's literally the most basic guidance system. That way you don't have to have it on a guide wire.
A parabolic path too. Just tell it where it needs to land.
Well, no, that you're getting too much into it. I just need it to go, because like I just want it to like travel in a straight line and hit its target.
Oh.
I don't need it to, go psh, like that. That's more. I mean, coding wise, it's probably not that much more difficult. It's probably easier than the other way, but like, the issue is it has to know where it needs to hit.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can buy GPS sensors that are fast enough for it to, know where it is in space before it hits its target. Because we're talking like 20 seconds of flight.
Yeah.
Maybe, 20, 30, 40 seconds of flight at the most. Traveling, hundreds of miles per hour. Regular GPS
Is it
isn't-
following something, or what is it doing?
It would just you would just tell it to go to a target, and you would input the parameters, basically telling it, here's how much fuel you'll have, here's how fast it accelerates,
Yeah.
and then you could probably
Is its target straight ahead, or is it like?
yeah, I would have it straight ahead. We're just the most basic targeting system possible. Mm-hmm. So that's what you want ChatGPT to do. That's why I said just stay level with the horizon and travel in a straight line.
Okay.
And I'm like, I wonder if you could do it. I wonder if you could tell ChatGPT
Yeah, I'm sure.
to program you. Now, I do know for a fact that you have to word it correctly. Because if you tell it you're building a targeting system, it's like, I can't do that for you.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, I want to have a plane with these inputs, you know.
I want it to crash. Crash on impact.
No, you don't even need to tell it to crash. I just need to tell it to get to this point.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like, somehow tell it that it's not a missile or a rocket. But, like, that's crazy. You could probably... Now, I know ChatGPT isn't perfect when it does this coding. But, realistically, we just need to shove it into a rocket, launch it, see what the mistake is, then we know where to look for that in the code, and then tell it, okay, no, the rocket did this. Can we fix this? Mm-hmm. And honest to God, we could probably run it through some sort of some sort of simulator ahead of time.
Yeah.
You could build a targeting system with ChatGPT. People could be doing missiles. People could build missiles in their basement now.
Yeah, probably.
You could build an AMAC in your freaking basement. Actually, I don't think an AMAC actually has any logic in it. You know what an AMAC is?
No.
I think AI missing.
It's a mining company.
No. It's a shoulder anti-aircraft gun. Shoulder mounted anti-aircraft missile. Oh, that's what it was. It's a MPADS.
That is not AMAC.
Oh, MANPADS. That's what it is. MPADS. MANPADS.
How did you get AMAC out of that?
I don't know. Don't ask me. There might be something else that's AMAC. But anyways, MANPADS.
It was the Korean mining company.
Anyways, but MANPADS. These are. I don't think these even have AI in them. I think they're complete. Oh, maybe they do. That might be heat seeking. So, that looks like it's heat seeking on there. Well, anyways, yeah, these things are freaking dangerous things. Because you can have them... Oh, yeah. First gen. MANPADs such as the U.S. Red Eye, early versions of the Soviet, and the Chinese, and what are considered tail chase weapons. They are uncooled spin can seekers. Can only... So in the superheated interior of the jet and the background noise. This means they are only capable of accurately tracking the aircraft from the rear. You know. Anyways.
2 of these?
Yeah. We went through them all, remember?
Yeah, I know. Still pisses me off.
Yeah. But anyways, no. Well, these do have AI. These do have some sort of programming in them. But again, this was the frickin' 60s and they were building these things. So I really think you could do it quite easily. And these are tracking ones. So, like, we don't even need to track. We just need to tell it, here's your target. Do it. You know. Which is insane. That, you know, some nerd somewhere in his basement, some little wants to be a terrorist and knock out frickin' commercial jetliners as they go to land in an airfield.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, I know it can be done, but, you know, you just don't hear about it.
Well, probably because, well, the government, I don't know. Because just ChatGPT, does that work on... Are you connected to a server? Is it doing all that on a server, or is that done locally?
I don't know how it's done.
I couldn't assume to be done locally, but because like you always install an app. I just can't imagine that your phone has enough computing power to do that. But maybe it does.
I wouldn't be surprised if it does.
But
it'd probably take a long time. The more power it has, the faster your result will be.
well, anyways, it's always kind of surprising because I had a coworker who I brought up ChatGPT, and he like looked at me like, "What the heck's that?" I'm like, "How?"
Well, I didn't know about it until like a year or two ago. No, wait. 2020, 2021, somewhere around there.
It's not. You're too old. ChatGPT's only been around since like last November.
What? No,
November
no.
2022 is when ChatGPT became a thing.
How did I know about it before?
There might have been other AIs.
No. Because I was No, we've known about it before November 2022.
Maybe it just wasn't available, but that's when the trends picked up on it and became widely available.
That's when no, but we still had 2.0. It came out in 2020. Because the reason how I know this is because my friend and I were talking about this when we were roommates, and that when we were roommates in 2020. It was
Initial.
The OpenAI was released in 2022. When did it first come out?
November 2022.
No, I've known about it before that though.
I think you might be imagining it.
No, I'm not, because I knew.
Or you're thinking of a different AI. But ChatGPT came out in November.
No, okay, not.
You're not in the right spot.
3.
Yeah, that's June 2023.
Yeah, this is what I knew about. Not ChatGPT, GPT-3. This is what I knew about. That came out in 2020.
Yeah, but this doesn't actually, people can't even use this. It's literally just a trainer.
Yeah, but this is what came out before that. This is the because then they created 4. Number 4 is out.
Well, anyways, so, but the mere fact that there's
So not chat, yeah, just GPT-3.
well, there you go. It's something else. I'll tell you that much. One of the big things we're gonna start seeing a trend towards the industry. Well, I guess I should say this. The industry's already headed this direction. So there's different types of silicon.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff we use is purpose-built.
Okay.
Your CPU, your GPU. However, there are chips that exist where they can do anything. Now they're not.
Loud, but yeah.
Huh?
Oh,
sorry.
you screamed a
Sorry.
little.
They can do anything.
Yeah.
They can be a GPU, they can be a CPU, they can be NAND flash, they can do whatever. You just have to flash them a BIOS. Thing is, they're very inefficient at all of these things, but they can do it. The industry, what we're going to see now is, I wonder if they won't. I think GPUs are already have all your AI acceleration on them, but I almost wonder if we won't start to see literally just a system, no CPU, no GPU, where it's just literally meant to do AI acceleration work.
Maybe.
Because why would you waste all this money on CPUs and GPUs if wouldn't it just be cheaper just to ask Intel or TMC, just be like, I want to build a chip that just does AI work. And then how much faster AIs could get.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing, but no, I really think that we are going to see a very different world in 10 years. And it's very possible.
Every 10 years is like that. Every 10 years. 10 years ago, 2012. Think about all the shit we can do now that we couldn't do then.
What
2013 or whatever.
what would you? I'm thinking back to 2013. Name something.
So for one, YouTube was not as big as it is now. It was not really a career.
Yeah, it was. In 2013.
People didn't think of it as a career.
Oh, the general public didn't think of it as a career. But
Yeah.
people were making money on YouTube before then. And that was when Minecraft YouTubers kicked off, was 2013. This was like, in my opinion, prime YouTube. This was phase 2, the last of the good phases of YouTube. Before the Jake Pauls that came in and broke everything in phase 3.
Yeah.
Phase 1 was like Fred and them. Phase 2 was Minecraft, and then Phase 3 was Adpocalypse, I'm pretty sure. The Viners came over.
But the amount of jobs that people get as like an influencer was not really a thing.
No, you're right there.
Influencers, this whole TikTok thing, I think that was around 2018 when that started to kickstart. So this is before all that.
But like, how in your daily life though?
My daily life?
Yeah, what is something that has happened since 2013 that you've been like, damn, if I wish I had this in 2013 to make my life easier?
Let's think about that. See, I'm a pretty simple guy, so I don't. There's not really a lot that I could do.
Exactly. The big differences have been made socially since 2013. 2013 would be a very socially different place.
Yes, for sure.
Everybody was homophobic back then. But
Yeah, because you smartphones. I didn't have a smartphone then. I guess that is, they existed, but I didn't have one. That is one thing that I have acquired since then, but it did exist at the time.
2013, I didn't get mine till 2014.
So yeah, in 2013, I wish I would have had a smartphone.
But the phone I got was already like 3 years old when I
But
got
like
it.
I said, I still had access to a computer, and so like it's all the information. Camera technology's gotten a lot better. Like the camera that was on 2013 phones is much better now than it was then. Once again, cameras were still a thing.
That is true. You taking photos would be. So that's what I was going to say. The two things I could see being the big differences, because especially for someone in what I like to do, would be A, the camera abilities, and B, storage.
Storage, yeah, that's another big one.
Look at those micro SD cards on top of there. Don't unplug them. But there's in this reader up top.
Yeah.
There's 256 gigs right there.
Yeah.
Each one of those is 128 gigs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is.
That was unthinkable.
Yep. Yeah.
Without a hard drive in 2013. Because like what did we say, like the biggest thumb drives we had ever seen?
So I
were, like,
remember
64 gigs.
I remember walking into Best Buy one time. So this is 128. I remember 64 gigabyte flash drives at Best Buy were like $70. This is like $50.
Not even.
$40 on Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon. When did Amazon pop up?
Amazon was a thing already.
Was it a thing already?
Amazon's been a thing since the 90s.
Oh, but it was originally books though. When did it become like this everything store?
The 90s.
Oh, was that the 90s too?
It's just been slowly getting, like, it had.
That's another thing.
It was a collection of random things.
That's another thing. So, like Uber and it might have been it was not as widely popular. I know Hy-Vee didn't have their grocery site pickup.
No, that is one thing. all
the ability to like order stuff online. Like you some places did, but it wasn't until like almost like COVID or no, a couple of years before COVID when people were like, hey, what if we just allowed people to pick stuff
Please
up
stop
now?
playing with my flash drive. I don't want you to break it.
But that was around 2019 when 2018 2019 is when it became this big thing at Hy-Vee. And then they made like this what they call a black store, just a store. It was not the biggest success. It kind of failed, and then they went back to their old ways. But originally what it was is it was just a warehouse with just everything, all the grocery stuff or whatever. And then they go around, they'd have people go around, shop it, and then they'd ship it out to all the stores. So it was like a 1 to 2 day delivery time between when you'd order and when you'd get it. But yeah,
that's why it didn't work.
It didn't work. So they went back to their old ways of having employees go around and shop it. And some stores do it better than others. I think the biggest problem is how the store organizes it. Our store did not have a very good organization system. I helped out a little bit with the frozen area, and definitely made their lives a lot easier. But it was they didn't have a good way of keeping all the items together. A lot of stuff was getting lost, and because you can't keep there's some stuff you don't want to keep frozen, and then obviously frozen stuff needs to be kept frozen, so they kept those things in separate places. I organized the stuff in the frozen area because it was getting in the way of my shit, and I was able to get my stuff done because their stuff was taking over everything. So I organized their stuff, and they actually gave me a couple meal cards because they were impressed with the way I did it. I made their lives easier, but they still have the problem on the grocery side because most of the stuff people buy is in the grocery aisles, and yeah, I don't want to help with that. I was like, yeah, that's your own horse.
Well, the way Walmart, I don't know how Walmart handles frozen, but here's how I would handle it. You'd have one person that does just you have just a handful of people that are doing groceries, and then a handful of people that are doing frozen.
Oh no, that failed too. They tried the department tactic. It was easier to have one person shop all the orders, shop one person's order. That made it much easier to keep stuff together, because otherwise it was like, did you get this person's frozen stuff? Because otherwise you'd have stuff, you'd get ahead, you'd get off in the timing, because you'd have like people's orders would get mixed up. Because they were like, wait, was this for this person or this person? It was a mess. It was easier to keep all the stuff in one cart, and that's what it was easier for, and then just throw it all on a tote. So wait, this tote is for this person, because they tried a thing where it was like times. So it was like from 6 to 7 o'clock. These are these people's orders. Yeah, they tried so many different things. I don't know what they're doing now.
I see none of those. They didn't.
But the
issue they should have done is software. So basically, Walmart, they have their scanner, right?
Yeah.
You go and say, okay, I'm working on this order.
Yes.
That lights up telling you, okay, I am working on this order.
Yes, that's what Hy-Vee does. Yes.
Now, this should only be if you're doing the groceries or the frozen. Okay.
Well, what? Say it again.
So when you hit, let's say you're a grocery guy.
Yeah.
You go to click on your order. It's only going to tell you that the order has groceries. It's not going to tell you the frozen.
Yes. Okay.
So then you have the frozen guy who just has the list of orders that have frozen items.
Yes.
He's going to hit that. It's going to light up, and now somebody knows that somebody's already working on that.
No, that's not the issue. The problem is that they mix customers' orders up.
No, I'm getting to this. Okay. Now they get kept in. They'll have a separate freezer and a separate place, like separate shelves to hold this.
Yeah,
now,
that's what we did.
When the next person needs to go to do it, their manual tells them that this has frozen and regular. So now they need to know that I need to get box 1 from groceries and then box 5 from frozen.
Yes.
This is this person's order. You can buy it in a tote and take it out to the customer.
Oh, that still fails because you have too many. The thing is, the amount of orders that they do is too many to do it like that. They had to condense it. They had to put multiple stuff. They did the best way to do it. How they found was all the stuff from all the orders, because when the people come, they only allow them to come at certain times, from 6 to 7 o'clock.
Well, that's how all of the companies do it.
And what they did is they kept all the orders from 6 to 7 o'clock in one spot. Otherwise, you have too many totes. You have too many things. And so if you had a limited space, that'd be the way to do it. But it doesn't work like that.
I mean, I would still do it this way, but with still the times.
And what was the other problem?
People are idiots.
That is another thing.
Literally,
Because actually, I think I came up with that zone idea before they did it, and they tried it one day, and I don't remember what they did, but it failed horribly. And I think people didn't know what to do. I don't know how it failed, because it seemed like a good idea. Just have one person focus on just one area, and that's what it was. That's what it was. So it was a problem with help, because grocery, they needed most people on a grocery. Well, if you just had one person designated to, like, say, frozen, because one or two people can handle that, then now you're losing that extra help that you would have had they been shopping in order for grocery. Because now frozen is getting way ahead, or dairy is getting way ahead, and then it's like, well, we need them to go back and do dairy. So then they do dairy for a couple hours, and now frozen is getting behind. And it was just like this mess, because they didn't have enough help for every department to be sufficient.
well, they're still never going to have enough help for every
That was the
department to
problem.
be
They didn't have enough
sufficient.
help to keep each department sufficient, so no one department was falling behind or getting too far ahead.
Welcome to the 21st century. There's not going to be enough help, period.
That was the problem. But yeah, then they also they also have a very limited amount of space in the back room. O Street's back room, I think I spit a little, is huge. They have space galore. But yeah, our store, we don't have a whole lot of. And the other problem with our store is that the back room is long but narrow, so there's not enough space width-wise. So if they're taking up like a wall, like this whole wall, and then now your walkway is shrinking. And so now you're waiting for people. Okay, you move over there. Now I can walk through. Yeah, they need to have a much wider back room, because lengthwise is pretty decent, But that's where O Street benefits, because they have a much wider back room, so you can put a pallet down and not be in someone's way in the back room.
Right. The worst part is, it's inefficiently efficient.
Yeah.
Because it would make more sense to do it like a warehouse.
Yeah.
Or like Amazon does it. That way we don't have to worry about facing products.
Yeah.
You could just, all the Blue Bunny vanilla 1 gallon tubs go here.
Yeah, why did that fail?
All of the cereal goes here. Here's why it fails. Because now you need a whole separate section, a whole separate store just to do online orders. That doesn't work.
Well, no, we did do that. We called it a black store.
But they also took 2 days to get to the customer. You can't do that. Customers, people, when they buy their crap, they buy, especially for online orders, they want it that day.
Yeah.
They don't want to wait 2 days to get their stuff, because that's American.
You order it 2 days. You order it 2 days ahead of time. So you do your
People
shopping.
don't like to do that.
Yeah, I know.
It's what's annoying is, in Europe, people go to the store a lot. They go all the time. And for them, it would definitely not work. In America, it should work, because most people go once a week, get all their groceries, and then they don't typically go back to the store. That's why.
Well, I usually have like a set list of just a default list of things I get, and then every once in a while I go back to the store a second time during the week, and I'll be like, oh, damn it, I need a taco shell. That happened to me like a couple weeks ago. I started making tacos, and then I get all done, have the hamburger all laid, the hamburger all browned and cooked, have all my veggies all chopped up, and then, oh, shit. I threw the hamburger on simmer on just a very low heat, covered up the veggies with a paper towel, went to the store, grabbed it, and so I was back home, within like 10 minutes. But yeah, occasionally there are times where I go to the store 2 times a week.
Anyways, so in the U.S., people go once per week usually. So you would think that the Hy-Vee thing would work. The black store. No, because the people that go and do online orders are not the people doing one purchase per week. They're going like we do, or like how I do it, which is I try to do once per week, but usually ends up being multiple times per week.
Yeah.
And that's the type. Those are the type of people that use online. So when it takes 2 days for them to get their order, yeah, no, they're not going to do that.
Yeah, no.
Especially if the black store didn't have it in stock. Now it's going to be 2 days later before I find out, oh yeah, I didn't get that item.
So that is one thing. I feel like there should always be a store. I don't want them to go. I don't want food to be completely online.
If it's going to be completely online, I at least want to make sure that it's going to be in stock and I'm actually going to get it.
That was
and
the other
I'm going
thing.
to get the correct thing. Because
Yes.
Amazon, I always get the correct thing. It's not. And it's always, if it's not in stock, they tell me it's not in stock. I'm not going to buy it and like, oh, sorry, we ran out. That's not how that, Amazon's so much better about that. Walmart, you buy it, but then because they're using the same inventories that
Yes.
people are pulling off the shelves,
Yes.
Menards runs into the same issue. We were doing this long before
You
anybody else
realize,
started
oh
doing
wait,
this.
we're out of something. Oh,
It pisses people. It pissed customers off.
because you order something and by the time they shop your order, it could be that afternoon. Well, that morning they might have had it like a day ago when you ordered it, they probably did have it. But then, they get a truck on an every other day basis. So then by the time they finally shop your order, it's like, oh yeah, we get our truck in tonight, we'll have it, but right now we're out.
Well, Walmart doesn't even freaking know. You ask them, okay, when am I going to get this product? I don't know.
Well, that is
Maybe never.
No,
I'm like, what?
No, I can attest to that. So the problem is because when the warehouse gets it. So we would have stuff. We had a designated truck day. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Menards got trucks every day.
Yeah. Well, every department though.
Yes.
Okay. Anyways.
Because we just get a truck that's just full of just shit. And now some of them have predominantly hardware.
Yeah.
Some of them have predominantly bulk stuff. That's building materials.
Yeah.
And that depends if they're coming from Valley or if they're coming from Iowa. The Iowas are the big ones.
Yeah.
Those usually have like 1/4 of its bulk, but most of it's stuff that needs to be broken down and sorted into departments. And it's just a random mesh of things.
Yeah. No, but we didn't know when the warehouse would get some of this stuff. Because the warehouse would be out of it, and they're like, I don't know when we're going to get it. The vendor's having the problem. And that's the problem really started in 2020 when stuff started to close, because then they weren't making the products to get them out fast enough. And then, maybe something in their machine, because I know that there was one time, there was some assembly, that one of the companies had some problem with their machine or whatever, and there were only 3 of them in the world. There were only 3 of them in the world.
Oh, of course, there's only 3 machines in the entire world.
That could make this one product. And they said it'd be, so this was December when I found out, because it was winter time or something, if I remember. And yeah, they're not going to have it up and running until June. I'm like, what? So that's what I started telling people. And
What freaking product was this?
it was the egg rolls, some egg rolls for China, because see, it was in China. I think was it where they're making? I forget, but there were only 3 of them.
Why the hell were there only 3?
I don't know why. I don't know. That's what my manager said. They said there's only 3 of them in the world, and one of them broke down. So now they have 2 machines trying to produce enough for the entire U.S. Yeah, that's not going to work. So they designated only specific cities would get them, and so Lincoln was out of the question because there's not enough people that live here.
Right. Yeah, there's another issue. It's, oh my god. So, when everything is up and running and things are not delayed, the world runs pretty damn smooth. But they do it this way because it's the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a tiny bit of extra overhead, if there's a little bit of an increase in demand, but, the company is going to continue to run that machine until it can no longer, it's consistently getting more orders than it can handle. And then they're like, I guess we'll build another machine. Well, then it takes a freaking year for them to do that. And there's not even a guarantee that they want to open up another machine.
Yeah.
They might just be willing to say, we'll just increase prices.
Yeah.
That's what's happening a lot of times. It's just like, that's what's happening with oil. It's just like, we don't really want to, pump out more oil.
No.
Most of it's because they just want to screw the U.S. over. But they're just like, we don't really want to pump more oil, so... The big issue was they can pump it. They just wouldn't refine it. That's what was happening in Saudi Arabia. It was their refineries. They're just like, we don't really want to refine more oil, so you can just piss off.
Sure.
No, we don't want to refine more than we already do, so
Yeah.
figure it out. It's
Figure it out.
Seriously? It's just it's a cluster. Although, I think the U.S. doesn't... I think most refining of oil gets done on U.S. soil.
Oh, yeah?
If we buy... Because, it wouldn't make sense. Because you're buying a bulk... So, there's... in supply chains... I learned this in one of my marketing classes. In economies of scale. There's bulking up and bulking down. So, raw materials being turned into car parts.
Yeah.
That's bulking down. You can ship the raw materials a long distance. In that case, you can ship the raw materials a long distance. But then, do you build the car there too? Or do you ship the pieces? You ship the pieces. And then the cars get assembled closer to the end goal.
Okay.
Cars are a little more difficult because, it can't, you don't want to have a billion different car factories.
They also don't stack well. It's easier to stack parts than a car.
Yeah, so it's all about, bulking up, bulking down. Well, in oil refinement, you're bulking down. You're going from one product to potentially hundreds of products. Plastics, natural gas, diesel, gasoline, kerosene. All of that can be extracted from one barrel of crude oil. Because it's all about the length of molecules.
Yeah.
And so, it's like, you ship the oil, refine it, and then so you ship the bulk oil. At least that's for export. I mean, obviously, Saudi Arabia has their own refineries,
Yeah.
but
Well, we should probably wrap this up.
I suppose. Well, anyways, I would like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. New podcast every Friday, 12 p.m. Central Time. And good night.